Quality number 4. The fourth quality of a leader is communication. The ability to communicate, the ability to connect with people. This first paragraph I want to start with. Developing excellent communication skills is absolutely essential to effective leadership. The leader must be able to share knowledge and ideas to transmit a sense of urgency and enthusiasm to others. If a leader can't get a message across clearly and motivate others to act on it, then having a message doesn't even matter. What I've discovered is that too many leaders don't place enough value upon their ability to communicate effectively with people. Now, all of my life, I have studied communicators. I've made it a mission to try to be the very best communicator I possibly can be, and to be honest with you, the way that I did that is for many, many years ago. I mean, I'm talking about 30 years ago, I really started studying communication, reading about communicating, and mostly just watching great communicators. One of the things I do anytime I hear anybody teach is I not only try to listen to what they're saying and try to take notes and learn from what they're saying, but more than anything else, I watch them communicate. I keep asking myself, what makes them effective? Why are they such good communicators? And here's what I've discovered. It's for your notes. All great communicators have one thing in common, and by the way, only one thing. They have different styles of communication. They have different ways that they do it. The only thing that all great communicators have in common is this. Are you ready? All great communicators, they connect with people. You say, what do you mean by connecting with people? Have you ever heard two different people sing the same song? And one person, when they sing that song, you go, oh my goodness. And it just connects with you. I mean, you're saying, probably the greatest song I've ever heard. And you heard somebody else sing that same song and you say, that was good. Now, have you ever thought about this? Same music, same notes, same words. One connects, one doesn't. In politics, Bill Clinton connected. Al Gore didn't. I'm not picking on Al, but he was boring. Al spoke, but nobody was home. In commercials, you know, we all watch the Super Bowl. What do? We watch the Super Bowl, but we really watch the commercials. Isn't that right? It's probably the only event that none of us leave during the commercials. In fact, we leave during the Super Bowl. But if you watch those commercials and the next day, remember what they did? They evaluate all the commercials. This was the best one yesterday. What? Hey, some of them you just look at and say, oh, that is so creative. That is so good. That is so funny. Whoa. And other commercials say, that was good. Now, what is it? Okay. Some people connect, some people don't. And here is how effective communicators connect. Here's what I've discovered. Are you ready? Number one, they know their message. They not only live the message, but they are constantly learning from it. So they live the message. It's more than just, let me tell you something. It's, let me show you something. What they say, they truly believe, which brings me to number two. They know their people. They not only know their message, but they know their people. In your notes, effective communicators focus on the people with whom they're communicating. They know it is impossible to effectively communicate to an audience without knowing something about them. I understand this very well. Because in my life, I communicate in very many different groups. I communicate with the business community. I communicate with the educational community. I communicate with the religious community. And I understand them, and I understand their differences. And when I go to speak to them, I have to not communicate the same way. I have to communicate based on where the people are. See, great communicators do not say, here's my message, sit down and listen to it. Great communicators say, I'm going to sit down and listen to you. And by the way, after that, I'll give you my message. They always put a higher priority on knowing the people or their audience than they do upon the message that they teach, because they realize, if I know you, if I know you, I'll deliver something that connects with you. But if I don't know you, no matter how good my message is, it may not connect. Great leaders, they know the people that they talk to. And so there are questions I ask myself, and I want you to write these down. There are questions I ask myself before speaking. Number one is, who are they? That's a very simple question, but who am I going to speak to? Who are they? Number two is, what's the purpose? Why am I here? In other words, what do they expect me to do while I'm here? Who are they? What is the purpose? Number 3, are they prepared for my message? As I get ready to teach, I've got to ask myself the question, are they ready? Now, this is a timing question. Here's what I learned a long time ago. The right thing said before the time was right didn't turn out good. So it's a timing question. So I ask myself, who are the people I'm going to talk to? What's the purpose? Are they ready? Number 4, what do they need to know? What do I need to deliver in this lesson, in this vision casting, in this message? What do I need to say to them that will help them know certain things? And 5thly, what do they need to do? Not only what do they need to know, but what they need to do. And not only do I want to give them head knowledge, but we've got to give them application, because it's in the application that life is changed. So what should I have them do after they hear this and know what they should know? And number 6, can I make my message connect? How am I going to make my message connect? What I have discovered is to make a message stick, you have to have passion. In other words, if you don't feel it, neither does the audience. Hey, you have to have humor. I learned that people change most of the time if they can laugh at themselves first. And you have to tell stories. Many years ago, I learned principles fade, stories stick. So if you want people to understand and remember what you said, you've got to say it with passion, you've got to have some humor injected into it, and you've got to say stories. Now here's what I want you to note. Of these 6 questions I ask about people before I speak, 4 of these questions are about the people. 1 question is about the message, number 2. And 1 question is about the message and the people, number 6. Isn't it interesting? If you really want to connect, almost every question you got to ask is a question that is based on people. And then number 3, you need to feel the message. You know your message, you got to know your people, but then you have to feel the message, because the leader must feel the message before the people. I was speaking to a leader one time, and he was talking to me about the fact that he knew that his people needed to make a change, but he said they're not ready. And I looked at him and I said, that's no problem. I said, that's your responsibility. He looked at me and said, what do you mean? It's my responsibility to get the people ready? I said, of course it's your responsibility. You're the leader. That's why they call you leader. You're out in front. You go first. But then I looked at him and I said, I can now tell you, well, let me tell you why they're not ready. He said, why aren't they ready? I said, because you're not ready. I found out that many times it's a leadership issue. And if I'm not ready, the people aren't ready. It has to come inside. It has to be first. You see, for Christmas last year, my son Joel and his wife Elizabeth, for Christmas, they gave me, my favorite Christmas present last year was great speeches, the 100 world's greatest speeches of the world ever. And man, I'm telling you, I put those CDs in my car and just listen to them and listen to them. I found that they all had one thing in common: passion. Not one great speech was a take it or leave it speech. It's Churchill saying, never, 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 never give up. It's Martin Luther King saying, I have a dream. It's Ronald Reagan in Berlin saying, Mr. Gorbachev, tear this wall down. It's passion. See, ordinary people become extraordinary communicators when they're fired up with conviction. Field Marshal Ferdinand Foch observed, the most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. Number 4, show the message. You see, if you want to be a great communicator, you not only know the message, know the people, feel the message, but show the message. Only ask people, are you ready? Only ask people to believe what you believe. Only ask people to change what you change. Only ask people to do what you do. If you don't believe it, don't ask them to believe it. If it doesn't change you, it won't change the people. If you're not doing it, don't ask the people to do it. People do what people see. Let me close this communication time by just sharing with you a card that I picked up recently, and I love it because this just shows you the confusion of communication that happens all the time. And I've been this way before, and I've heard people do this before. Have you ever heard somebody communicate, and when they got done, you said, I know they were trying to tell me something. But I know they're trying to say, this card will do it for you. I fully realize that I have not succeeded in answering all of your questions. Indeed, I feel that I have not answered any of them completely. The answers I have found only serve to raise a whole new set of questions, which only lead to more problems, some of which we weren't even aware of were problems. To sum it all up, in some ways I feel we are as confused as ever, but I believe that we are confused on a higher level and about more important things.